What's up guys, Ngati Gaming here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about one of the things that I think needs to be discussed specifically about F2P players and accounts. I think for anyone who's been watching my videos, they know that I have about 4 accounts, each obviously pertaining with different characters from different patches. Some have more characters than the other. Obviously, for example, like my main account has obviously the majority of like the likes of Acheron, Sparkle, Bronya, and so on and so forth. But today's video is going to be obviously focused on my thoughts on obviously my experience from having different characters and who I think specifically is a must need for any account, or specifically any F2P account or free to play in general account, and what gives you more progression as an F2P player when playing a Star Rail. So obviously, to start off, I think right now 100% one of the main characters that I think is quite important for you to have on any account is Ruin Mei. Now the reason why I say Ruin Mei is important is because she gives what people like Sparkle and Bronya would never give, and that's basically the weakness break efficiency, weakness break effect, and all type penetration boost. That all type penetration boost can actually go up to even 92%, and if you're playing in the simulated universe, can even go up to close to even 200%. So if you have like let's say an elemental damage bonus and you have a Ruin Mei on that account, 100% she will boost up your account in terms of support. Not only is she a team-wide support, she's also a damage general support. So that's one of the characters I think is a must-have for any account, especially if you're free to play. If you want to like obviously save, I think Ruin Mei is one of the best characters you can get. Another support I think that is quite important specifically is Ting Yun. Let me find Ting Yun. So now Ting Yun is, I think, one of the characters that, as much as the game has progressed to the point where it is, she still holds a very valuable role in terms of energy regeneration. Now obviously I know it's going to be a bit of a mix-up in terms of 5-star and 4-star, but this tier list is just to tell you who I think from the 4 accounts that I have is quite important in terms of actual account progression and longevity. So Ting Yun, I think, obviously brings a lot to the table in terms of in damage and 2 energy regeneration. So another character that I think is quite important in terms of support, and I don't even think it's that much of a big deal, is actually where is she? Actually, she's not here. Hanya. So Hanya, I think, is good. She's not used much, but for anyone who actually uses her, I think it's not that much. She brings a lot to the table in terms of speed and in terms of damage. Usually when you pair her up with an Agenti, it's usually very good. So one of the other characters I think is a must-have if possible is Acheron. The reason why I say Acheron is because when the game started for Honkai Star Rail, everybody was like, I want to start a fight with everything, and then obviously the animations, the gameplay, very good. Now we are like in 2.1, and most people don't want to go through that whole hustle of going through simulated universe, and you're just going fight after fight after fight after fight. I think she adds a lot of accessibility to the overworld farming, but also being able to to go through the game quickly, because her E skill just allows you to kill everything, just like that, right? And especially if you pair her up with a Ruin Mei, like let's say you get an E2 Acheron, the possibility of being able to run simulated universe within even 10 minutes is possible, because obviously Ruin Mei has her E skill, which breaks the enemy's weakness break bar completely. So if you have like a remembrance buff in the simulated universe, you immediately get that remembrance buff or dissociation when you have a Ruin Mei. And obviously with Acheron, I think even just the general damage output she offers is it speaks a lot. So I think another character that most people will want to discuss is probably Bronya. Now for me, Bronya is at the moment I feel that Bronya is meh. And the reason why I feel that Bronya is meh is because when the game started specifically, there was a lot of hype for Bronya. You know, the advanced forward, which is a completely different mechanic to every single support, the crit damage boost, the attack boost. But now we have a character that offers way more in terms of utility than Bronya. Yes, it might not be an 100% advanced forward, but what Sparkle offers specifically, I think, is way more than what Bronya offers at the moment, and that's my 2 cents about it. So what I would even say is that Sparkle, I think, is probably even above Bronya at this point in time. The reason why is, as much as she offers, you know, a big crit damage boost, attack boost, advance forward, she does all that inclusive of the fact that she adds skill points to your general gameplay, which I think for most people is one of the most beneficial things you can have in any game. So I'd say like these 3 are must-haves for your account, basically to have any long-term progression. I think these 2 are usually quite good in terms of, like, if you get them, it'll benefit your account. I would not push for a Bronya, because you basically even get her for free anyway. That's why I don't really class her. And plus, most of these characters you can kind of go off and get the most utility out of them without their light cone and without an Eidolon. Whereas with Bronya, you basically need her light cone and her E1 for her to function at the capability of being a must-have unit, which in most cases is impossible, because you usually just get her copy alone, and you'll have to obviously work or hope for the fact that you'll get another copy of Bronya. So as we move on to, I think, tanks, now that we're coming to the fact that adventuring and Fushuan are coming into the game, I personally think Fushuan is also a must-have on your account, because yes, in Simulated Universe, especially the higher levels of Simulated Universe, I think she falls off. Okay, not falls off specifically, but it's impossible for her to be put in a high level of Simulated Universe, because the amount of damage mitigation that she takes from other allies is too much for her specifically. So unless for some possible reason there's a 20,000 health Fushuan, it's very hard for her to survive a boss's hit at, you know, conundrum level like 5, you know, highest level 5. But 100% Fushuan is a very carry unit. She can tank in general for MOC 10 all the way to 12, no problem, and she basically carries the whole game for you in terms of being a tank. Now obviously we have gotten to play with Argenti, but I think he will be in a position where he's good, where if you get him, he can be sort of like the second team from Fushuan. But I think he's going to be doing what what Jeopard basically cannot do, and that's and that's allow for constant shielding for the team. Because I will not lie, 100%, like, you don't need Jeopard half the time, and in fact, if you got Jeopard in the beginning of the game, you're probably not even playing him now, to be honest, because with now the inclusion of someone like Fushuan and now coming at adventuring, he's going to be taking that spot because of that consistent shielding and stuff. Now, another character I think we can move on to is, let's say, healers. Let's actually go to healers. If you manage to get a Luocha, right, you are set as an account. Especially if you have, let's say, a Luocha and a Fushuan, you are set for an account. And this actually goes hand in hand as well with Huahua. These two bring so much utility to the game in terms of healing that I do not think one is above the other. You know, Luocha does stuff that Huahua doesn't do, and Huahua does stuff that Luocha doesn't do. She provides constant healing through just that one healing effect or skill, whereas Luocha does an automated heal, but also has 2 stacks which enable the team to basically heal themselves. Yes, it's kind of 2 different things, but both of them do kind of the same thing, but in different ways. And I honestly feel that if you have any of these characters, it's really good. Now, obviously, enough of 5-star characters. I know we'll come back to 5-star characters. Let's go back to now, obviously, 4-star. Pella. Pella is an amazing unit. Pella is one of the best units you will ever have in your account. And in fact, if anything, everyone has probably gotten her an E6 on Pella. Her defense shred just completely changes the game in terms of even you being able to deal more damage from a team perspective. So I think Pele is a must-have for any account. You'll probably get her along the way even when you start the game, but 100% Pele is needed for your account. One other 4-star character that I think is quite important to have on your account right now is someone like, I'd say, even actually Herta. Now, because of the inclusion of not simulated universe, not MOC, pure fiction, she has become more valuable in terms of building, because whereas before it was very hard for you to build a Herta and deal damage with a Herta. So I do feel, because either way you do get her and you do get Eidolon levels, build her up, because during the pure fiction phase, every single unit has some form of weakness to ice, and she brings so much utility to the game in terms of actual follow-up attacks in pure fiction. She's good only in pure fiction. That's what I feel, and that's what I've actually tested myself. Now, in terms of say our Trailblazer specifically, I do feel that the Fire MC is way better than the Destruction MC. That's what I feel. Especially when you have let's say an E2 Acheron, you can really pair her up with the Trailblazer, and you'll be able to do way more in terms of damage, so on and so forth. Because obviously if you put the light cone that enables a debuff to be put on the enemy, it enables Acheron to build up stacks, which then obviously allows Acheron to basically ult even faster. And that goes hand in hand with the effect that in the event that you don't have any of these two and you have an Acheron and a Trailblazer, now that we're getting someone like Gallagher, I think Gallagher, because we've actually gotten from testing a team Gallagher, Trailblazer, Acheron, and then maybe one Nihility, who I'm now obviously going to be talking about in a few, I think is such an amazing team, because especially if you have an E2 Acheron, this team is so good because it enables you to build up her stacks so fast. So now as we look at, let's say, another 4-star, I think, character, I think Gunaifen is good. She's not like the best, but she's good. That's what I feel. If you get an account, build her. She'll be good on an account with Acheron. But I don't feel you should build her if you don't have an Acheron or Kafka or a Black Swan. Right? So we move on to the next character. I personally feel that Agenti, as much as he has gotten the hate that I know he gets sometimes, I feel that he's really good in pure fiction. I feel like he's very, very good in pure fiction. The reason why I feel he's very good in pure fiction is because the amount of damage he deals without even his light cone is way better than Jingyuan. And actually now let's talk about Jingyuan. You don't need Jingyuan. For some reason, like I have tried building Jingyuan to like the max output. He deals damage, but he deals it in a slow way, and that is the major problem, right? As we go to Yukong, Yukong you don't really need, to be honest. March 7th in some situations, as much as I've put bad, like you don't, you don't need to build. So you don't really need to build March 7th, to be honest, unless you're running a team with Clara. You can kind of put March 7th, Clara, and then maybe some other units, but in my case, not needed. Obviously we have him. Misha, not needed from my perspective. Asta is meh. She's good, but I don't think she's used as much. Usually you'd use her on a team with Jingyuan to just basically give him some speed, but half the time, again, like, my honest opinion is that you don't need a Jingyuan, right? For Sela, at the moment, I feel like she's not needed. She's been power crept by so many characters. It's unbelievable, all right? For Seville, I say she's not needed. This is from my perspective. I have 4 accounts with all of these characters, and the characters here are the ones I have fully built up, like giving them the best artifacts, given the best care in terms of obviously rerolls and stuff. But I can kid you, I have every single character, but these are the characters I would suggest for free-to-play players to kind of wait for or save for specifically. Now, one character you might not expect for me to say is a must-have is actually Topaz. Topaz, oh my god, right? I got Topaz on a whim, right? I got her I won the 50-50, summoned for her what do you call it, for her light cone, and I got her light cone. Oh my god. I do not think I have ever underestimated a character as much as I've underestimated Topaz, because she deals so much damage in terms of follow-up attack. It's unbelievable. And one of the best things is if you pair her up with a Clara, who I think is good, then you have a very good team in terms of general kind of follow-up attack. So if you have like a Clara, you have Topaz, and then you have, let's say, a Ruin May, my god, your team is killing. It's done, it's over. And this actually goes hand in hand now with Dr. Ratio. I'd say build him up, build Dr. Ratio, because Dr. Ratio 100%, as much as he's a free character, single target character, oh my god. You put Topaz, you put Dr. Ratio, you put Clara, and then you put any healer that can obviously do consistent healing. You have a good team for follow-up attacks. Now that we're having obviously a Genti coming in, I think he might even be moved here due to the fact that this synergy between follow-up attacks is so good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, in terms of, let's see, let's go to the next character. Natasha, I will not say she's not needed that much. Sampo, he's meh, he's good, but he's meh. You're not gonna see a lot of people running him nowadays. Obviously, she's not needed. He fell off, I feel, due to the fact that like he's a single target unit. Bailu, don't even build. I feel she's just useless. Obviously her, I say not needed. The only reason people I think were really building her up was just to showcase the whole Sparkle and Sparkle build with her, but I personally feel she's alright. Now, for her, I feel she's very good. In terms of break effect, in terms of break damage, she's very good. So I think this also goes hand. So we have the female Trailblazer, which is obviously, I think I'll also put here because she just kind of goes. Always build the Trailblazer in terms of the preservation path, because if you have an Acheron in your account, which probably most people a lot of have, then her with Gallagher and Acheron and then maybe another Nihility unit is going to work very well. Now, one character I think everyone's waiting for is Kafka. Now, I have one account that has all the Nihility characters, and Kafka, I'd say is, I would like to put her as a must-have, but I would not say she is a must-have. I got her on a whim, and it's worked out for me. So I'd say she's good. She's very good. So anything classed over here within this two, I'd say these are the units that I'd say you need to have 100%. You need to have on your account and build up in your account if you have them. But these are the characters I'd say if you get them, build them up, because they will bring a lot of utility to your account. So I think Kafka is one of those units that if you get, irrespective of not getting a light cone, she deals a lot of damage, especially if you have another Nihility character that brings that DOT damage to the table. And onto that, Black Swan. Now, I'm a bit stuck here in terms of if you need Black Swan. I feel that she's a must-have because one of my accounts, I will not lie, it has progressed so far now that I have Black Swan, but I would not say save for her specifically unless you have a Kafka and unless you have, let's say, Gwynaifen and a good healer. That's the only time I'd say she's very good. So I'd say kind of put her in this context. But again, this is my perspective after obviously having these characters. So in general, you can even say this is S, A, B, D, E in general, because I don't believe in that whole S plus. You're either really good or like you're okay, right? That's my perspective. So these characters here, 100%, you can save for them. They're really good to have on your account. I'd say they're very good to have on your account. Whereas these characters, I'd say it's a must-have. Now on to one of the best mommies in the game. Jinglu is a must-have in this account. She deals so much damage. So much, and she has like two phases. When you play her skill like once and twice, she goes into this other like like version of her alts, or rather her skill, where she like removes her, like it's like a second phase of her kit, and it brings so much utility, especially if you have a Bronya. Then usually most of the time you want to pair her with Bronya. If you have a Sparkle, 100%. Now actually even this goes hand in hand with Dan Heng. Now I have a Dan Heng on my main account, but until I got Sparkle, it was very hard for me to run a team with Dan Heng, because I feel like he just takes too many skill points in general, and that's pretty much it. Obviously we have him. I would say he's okay. He's meh. Even meh like that. Himiko, 100%. Especially what I'd even say is that if you have these two and you run them on in pure fiction, you pretty much are 3-starring every single level. I would say build them up to have speed as well, rather than just pure damage, because when you reach like pure fiction 4, most of the time you have to, it's unfortunate, but you basically have to you sort of have to be able to run your character at least 2 times within the first turn. So I'd say build them up with speed, because these two actually dominate in pure fiction. They don't dominate in any other unfortunately they don't dominate in any other content in the game, but pure fiction, these two crown winners. Now Welt is good. I wouldn't say he's like a must-have, but he's very good. Silver Wolf, due to the fact that I have Silver Wolf, and she works very well with the fact, for example, now that I have Acheron, Silver Wolf, Pella, and then I have now Luocha, this team just hits. This is its own team to begin with. I don't even need an E2 Acheron for this team to basically deliver in terms of damage. It's nuts. It's nuts. Arlan, I don't think I've ever even bothered with him. Now Blade, oh god, I don't think I got him. I've not seen his usefulness, to be honest. Luca, meh. Lynx, quite good, 100%. I personally think that every single healer, probably apart from Natasha, has brought in a lot of utility in terms of debuffing. The only thing that Natasha doesn't do, which she does with a skill, unfortunately, is debuffing. And obviously you have Lynx, who basically team-wide debuffs and heals at the same time with her ultimate. So I think every single healer, probably apart from Natasha, everybody loves Natasha, I don't see the benefit of her, but Lynx 100% must have, who you eventually even get for free to begin with. So for her, I've never actually built her, so I wouldn't even know in terms of damage. Now, obviously, we don't know about this two. Let's obviously move. We don't know about this 3 because we've not tested this out. We've not tested her out, and we've not tested him out. So what I would say is that let's wait for their kits. I mean, we've already seen what they do, and I think everybody has heard my opinion on the characters. I'm not going to be summoning on the characters obviously next month or in the next updates, but from what we have seen, they do bring in their own utility to the game, but at the same time I don't feel I am going to be summoning for them. So we'll wait for obviously news and wait for 2.2. Is it 2.1? 2.2 I think. Yes? No, 2.1. I don't even know where we are in terms of the game. But we'll be waiting for that, and 2.2. I think I'm confused. Either way, you can comment below and tell me how dumb I am. But yeah, this is basically my tier list in terms of characters that I think if you have on your account would be very beneficial. I'd say these characters are very good to have on your account because they bring a lot of utility. In fact, I'll move this to here because it's really hard for me to suggest Dan Heng if you don't have a Sparkle, because unless like you're try-harding specifically, that's the only time he'll be really good. So, and that's pretty much it. Apart from that, I think that's where I am in terms of my tier list. I've had 4 accounts, each of them testing different units, and I personally think that this is kind of the way to go. 100% of the characters I think is, I don't know if I can add a section. I can add above, right? I will put this as needed, right? I'd say this is one of the characters that you need 100%. Well, and maybe now like a Luocha. Like these are one of the 2 characters that I would say if you have on your account, you're pretty much sorted in terms of of support, healer, and in terms of tank, I'd even put her here specifically. So if you have these 3 specifically, you pretty much do have a good sustained tank and buffer units for that account. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have a good day. I know I've been off a bit, but I'm back and I'm kind of doing more videos. If you obviously have your own thoughts, put on the comments below, and I will see you all in the next one.